Okay. If y'all can hear me, drop down in the comments and let me know. How y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing? Drop down in the comments. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if the sound is good. Mhm. Hi, Lifetime. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for dropping down in the comments. Starting to think I was talking to myself over here, honey. Hi, how you doing, Lifetime 64? How you doing? Hi, everybody. Okay, it's good. That's good, y'all, because, baby, it's something with this doggone laptop every day. I've been trying to go live since I said I was at 7, child. I'm learning, baby. I'm working everything out as it comes up. Hi, Braylon. Hey, much love to you. I love you, T from TV. Thank you, Braylon. Love you too. Thanks for coming over here. Thanks for coming over here, Braylon. Hi, Nene Love. How you doing? How you doing? Hi, Marcy Taylor. Maurice is gone off the show. I haven't been watching the show. I don't think he's gone though. We're gonna talk about his case, We've been covering for like the last year where Maurice filed the defamation lawsuit against a couple YouTubers. So that's been going on for about the past year. Got videos all over the channel. Check them out. Check them out. I don't know about him being going off the show though. I don't watch it. Hey, how you doing, Marcy? Yeah, I don't watch the show, you guys. Have y'all been watching it? I haven't even really been seeing clips as much as I used to. I ain't been really interested, y'all. I've probably seen like one or two clips since they've been back on. I haven't been paying them no attention, chat. None whatsoever. We're going to talk about the lawsuit, the defamation case, the appeal submitted, about that. It was only about a minute, so y'all know I had to hop on here real quick so we can chat about that, discuss that a little further. So that's what we're going to talk about, y'all. Giving people a little time to get in, and we're going to get right into it, though. We're going to get to it. Minky Finky, how you doing? Thanks for joining, you guys, whether you're in the chat or you're just listening from the bushes. I appreciate it for me, though. Hit the like button on your way in. Do me that solid. Lifetime, you said you don't watch it. Yeah, I don't watch it either, you guys. I'm not that interested in it anymore. The cases that's been going on with, they all had lawsuits that stretched about a mile long. So that's what I've been keeping up with as far as some updates. And that's it. I'm not watching the show though. I'm not watching that. So let's get into it, you guys. Earlier, like I said earlier, I dropped the video. It was only like a minute and something long, where we just I brought the update of the appeal being dismissed. And we know the YouTuber Black Titanic had filed a countersuit against Maurice Scott from Love and Marriage Huntsville because he decided to file the defamation suit. They were out here alleging that he was a drug kingpin, and he said that wasn't him. It's a case of mistaken identity. Let him tell it. And so, yeah, he filed a defamation suit against a couple YouTubers. One of those YouTubers, in turn, filed a countersuit. And in her countersuit against Maurice Scott, she listed the Oprah Winfrey Network as a defendant because she said that was his employer and they were responsible for his actions out here in these streets. Hey, Miss Mary White, how are you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, boo. Hey, everybody watching, drop down in the chat, hit the like button on your way in. So, honey, it's been a lot. Like I said, this has been going on for over a year. These lawsuits, these countersuits, and OWN was dismissed 4 separate times, y'all. I have to say that in every video, but I have to recap, and it's for my people. We might have some new people here. So I know a lot of you have heard all of this before, but we gotta set the stage. We gotta give a little background info so they won't be lost. But to be totally caught up, if you're new here, check out the videos on the channel. Miss Mary White said, I'm blessed and breathing. Thank you for asking. How are you doing, my love? That's good to hear, Miss Mary White. I'm happy. I'm happy you're here. And I'm happy you're breathing. And I'm happy we're all breathing. So, y'all, Miss Bass Titanic filed her countersuit. Like I said, OWN was dismissed 4 separate times. And then her lawyer went ahead and filed an appeal and also filed for a writ of mandamus, and those were kicked out. That's really sad. They have tried these people up with this bullshit. Yeah, they have tied them up for very long. So we're going to talk about, that's what we're here to talk about, like this dismissal that was handed down from the Supreme Court of Alabama. The Alabama Supreme Court dismissed her appeal for lack of jurisdiction. We're going to get into that a little bit more. And we're going to get into what's next. And is Maurice Scott going to be next? So right now, what's on the screen, you guys? Let me make it big for myself. So right now, we have on the screen, this is from September 3rd, 2025. And this was from Helen Griffin. And this was her notice of appeal. So you see, Maurice is listed as the plaintiff in the original lawsuit. Black Titanic is listed as the defendant in the original lawsuit. And then we have her again listed as the plaintiff because she's the plaintiff in the counterclaim. Maurice Scott is one of the defendants in the counterclaim, and OWN Network was the defendant in the counterclaim before they were dismissed 4 separate times. So right here, it says, to the Alabama Supreme Court of the 7/25/25 order granting Oprah Winfrey Network LLC's motion to dismiss and request for stay pending appeal. So they requested a stay on the lawsuit pending this appeal that they filed because OWN had been granted their dismissal. And that happened back in July of this year. So it says, comes now in the above styled matter, Helen Griffin, appellate / cross plaintiff, through the undersigned counsel, and submits a timely notice of appeal against Oprah Winfrey Network LLC. And it says as follows. Number one, see attached 72525 order granting the dismissal of Oprah Winfrey Network, LLC, also referred to as OWN, in Griffin's Fourth Amendment cross complaint, notice of appeal, case action summary, reporter's transcripts, orders, and docketing statement to the Alabama Supreme Court. Number two, appellant Griffin also requests that this matter is stayed while on appeal before the Alabama Supreme Court. And while this matter is pending the issuance of a writ of mandamus from the Alabama Supreme Court, wherefore the above premises considered, Griffin files a notice of appeal and request for stay and all other relief deemed appropriate or necessary. So this right here was the original order that they filed the appeal on, and this was issued July 25th, 2025. And we see it says this cause came before the court as of July 23rd, 2025 for a hearing on the motion to dismiss Helen Griffin's fourth amended cross claim with prejudice filed by the Oprah Winfrey Network, LLC. On May 12th, 2025, the response thereto filed by Helen Griffin on May 18th, 2025, and the reply in support of the motion to dismiss filed by Oprah Winfrey Network, LLC, on May 22nd, 2025. Both parties were present, duly represented by counsel of record. Following arguments by counsel and review of all relevant and applicable law, it is ordered, adjourned, and decreed that the Oprah Winfrey Network, LLC's motion to dismiss all 23 claims of the Fourth Amendment cross claim of Helen Griffin with prejudice is hereby granted. So that's what she wanted to stay. So they could not move forward in the case because she requested a stay while she pursued an appeal in a writ of mandamus. Now, on the screen right now, we see that she filed her first petition on July 28th, just a couple of days after OWN was dismissed, 3 days after OWN was dismissed for the fourth time, the last time with prejudice. She filed that petition on July 28th, 2025 at 12:53 a.m. Okay, right next to that, we see the docket entry where that final judgment says it was transferred to the Supreme Court for lack of subject matter jurisdiction on July 29th. So the very next day, that morning at 7:42, the Supreme Court transferred it. No, the Court of Civil Appeals, I'm sorry. The Alabama Court of Civil Appeals transferred it to the Supreme Court. Then we see she filed on that same day, a few hours later, she filed the petition for tort, libel, slander, defamation. She filed that with the Supreme Court for the writ of mandamus. Now we see right next to that, they issued an order a few months later on September 23rd, 2025, and they denied her petition for the writ of mandamus. So before they even denied the writ of mandamus on September 3rd, 2025, that is when she filed the official appeal with the Supreme Court. And so we see now today, December 22nd, 2025, it was dismissed. And then shout out to Wente Talk. She dropped this tea in documents on her channel a few hours ago. So make sure y'all go check out her video. She dropped it, the actual order, and we knew it was dismissed, and she dropped the document showing the order from the Supreme Court. And it says that the court, having issued the show cause order on December 18th, 2025, regarding the notice of appeal filed by Helen Griffin on September 3rd, 2025, and the court having received the appellant's response to OWN's motion to dismiss / order to show cause filed by Helen Griffin on December 18th, 2025. It is ordered that the above style appeal is dismissed for lack of jurisdiction arising from a non-final judgment. Okay. So they're saying they dismissed her appeal because it was a non-final judgment. They didn't have jurisdiction because the circuit court, she still has some things going on with the circuit court. Basically, her attorney jumped the gun on the appeal. Okay? They jumped the gun. Let's see what y'all saying. Yeah, the courts is going to get to them in due time. But basically, her attorneys jumped the gun and filed a doggone appeal just because OWN was dismissed, you guys. But they still had other parties on the case, which would be Maurice Scott. So because they hadn't went to trial or fully resolved this whole petition, they weren't supposed to file an appeal on it. So right here, we see that it says the Alabama Supreme Court, and you can find this on Google. It says the Alabama Supreme Court dismisses appeals for lack of jurisdiction when a lower court judgment isn't final. So the circuit court judgment on her counterclaim was not final. They only dismissed one party, which was OWN. Okay. It says, meaning not all claims / parties are resolved. They still had Maurice Scott attached to that counterclaim, and he was not dismissed. Only OWN was dismissed. So they did not let the case fully get resolved before they ran to the Supreme Court. And it says, because appellate courts can only review fully decided cases, this prevents premature appeals, ensures efficiency, and upholds the final judgment rule. Then it says final judgment rule. Alabama generally, an appeal can only be taken from a final judgment, one that resolves all issues and parties in the case. Okay, so we know, I hate to keep reiterating it, but I was getting some comments under my video. So that is why the Alabama Supreme Court dismissed her appeal and stated they did not have jurisdiction because they was filing on a case that has not been resolved yet. They should have waited to figure out what was going to happen with Maurice before they started filing any types of appeals. And then we see Rule 54B certification. It says for cases with multiple claims or parties, like this one, a trial court can direct final judgment on some, but not all. Issues using an express determination under the Rule 54B. Without this specific certification, an appeal is premature. Okay? So they had a premature appeal. It says consequences for litigants, waste of resources. So I think they had to pay like $1,000 plus just to get all of the records, the transcripts, and everything from the case transferred over to the Supreme Court. So that was a waste of resources. They wasted that money on this appeal. And it says, in simple terms, the court says you can't appeal yet. The case isn't completely over in the trial court, stopping the appeal from even addressing the actual legal problem and sending the case back down. So they sent the case back down to the court, which would be the Circuit Court of Madison County. Now over here it says, if the Alabama Supreme Court dismisses both of your appeals and your petition for writ of mandamus, The stay on the trial's court order is immediately lifted, and the lower court regains full jurisdiction to enforce the original order. So the Supreme Court basically sent this back down to the original court that dismissed on. Okay. And the stay was lifted because what did we go over? They requested a what? They requested a stay while they filed the writ of mandamus and while they filed the appeal. That's what they asked for right here. They requested a stay. So when they requested the stay, the case could not move forward until this situation was handled. So now that the court has sent it back down there, this would be the next step. Again, shout out to Wente Talks. Y'all go check her video out. She let us know about these documents. So this order was set after the dismissal from the Supreme Court. And it says, motion to set aside the 7/25/25 order dismissing on, to recuse and to enter a stay pending mandamus by Griffin Black Titanic, aka BT, is hereby set for a status hearing, okay, March 23rd, 2026. So it is a status hearing, okay? So the court just wants to know, in March, they will basically get the court caught up on what happened in this appeal and what happened with the writ of mandamus. And we already know what happened to that. They were dismissed, okay? Right here it says, after an appeal and a writ of mandamus are dismissed in Alabama, the circuit court case typically returns to its original status, with the lower court's last valid order standing. And the last valid order was that on was dismissed with prejudice, okay? And it says requiring either a new filing, like a post-judgment motion, or a new case, or proceeding based on the case remaining claim, often prompting a status hearing. And that's what they said they were going to have on March 23rd, 2026 at 10 a.m. They were going to have a status hearing for the judge to get the case back on track or issue an order for the next step. As mandamus dismissal usually means the higher court found no error or no need for the extraordinary intervention. And it says what happened next. Remand, return to the trial court. When an appellate court or Supreme Court denies a petition for mandamus or dismisses an appeal related to it, the case generally goes to the original Alabama Circuit Court. Number 2, the status hearing. And again, we're waiting on March for the status hearing. It says the circuit court judge will likely schedule a status hearing to 1, determine the current state of the case, 2, confirm that all appellate matters are resolved, 3, set new deadlines for discovery, motions, or trial, address any remaining issues or claims not resolved by, hold on, let me see. I gotta move out my way. I want the doggone. Hold on, yeah. Not addressed by the appeal or mandamus. And it says number 3, the case continuation. The case proceeds from where it left off before the mandamus petition, unless the dismissal implies a final resolution on some matters. Okay? Okay, we read all that. And it says, in essence, the circuit court regains jurisdiction. So the case is kicked back down to the Madison County Circuit Court to move forward with the case. So they will now move forward with the case. The only remaining party on the counterclaim is Maurice Scott. The only parties that is on the original lawsuit, as far as I know right now, is still Maurice Scott as the plaintiff, Black Titanic, and Here for Hot Tea as the defendants. But I don't, they're saying some of them weren't served. So we're going to see, you guys, what is going to be set on March, what the judge. So basically, it's going to be Maurice Scott. He's going to be back up to bat with this case. And since the case is returning to the Madison County Circuit Court, I do not believe OWN will be added back onto this. Somebody was in my comments saying, it's not over. They have this hearing in March, and that is the status hearing. We already established that. But if the court dismissed OWN 4 times already, this is the same court that dismissed them 4 times already. The last time with prejudice, it is not likely for them to be added back on. So when I said it was over between the YouTuber and OWN, I still believe, personal opinion, that it is over between and content creator. Now, Maurice Scott, we got to see how that's going to turn out. Who knows? But, he filed the case first, and we know that they published these videos saying that he was a kingpin once. What the case is going to look like moving forward between them. They did waste a lot of resources appeal just because they wanted to chase after OWN, in my opinion. They said that Maurice was the target. So after OWN was dismissed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, they saw them. I don't know, they focused to Maurice, but they wanted to go to the Supreme Court with the appeal, and that was not what they should have did. Now, the attorney that they paid all that money to, and we've heard over and over that this attorney is a great attorney and that attorney knows what they're doing. I cannot tell from this. How about y'all? Can y'all tell that this attorney is a great attorney? Between all of these motions, between the 4 amended complaints that still ended the same way to them jumping the gun, attorney would have known that they cannot file an appeal on a case that does not have a final judgment. I don't know. Those are my opinions on that. Lifetime said they want to throw OWN, and the other lawyers serve them with lawsuit papers in court in March. So OWN, I do believe OWN my lapse, but they did say reserved their rights to request their in March, and you're able to move forward with case. But I don't think OWN will be added back on. I don't even think anyone at this point believes that. They'd have been the hell and back them added back onto this case. I may see them actually ask for their attorney fees, because these people wanted to be left off the lawsuit, and they got their dismissal 4 different times, and they still to the Supreme Court. So I don't think OWN is going to like that, but who knows? We'll see how they feel, if they will pursue those legal fees, because I know they are high as hell by now. It's been over a year of this law firm defending OWN Network in this case. So I can only imagine the amount of bills those kind of attorneys rack up within a doggone year. And it's been over a year. It's probably more like what, a year and a half, damn near 2 years. So you can imagine the fees they have racked up filing these motions and going back and forth with these people in the circuit court and then in the Supreme Court. I don't know, y'all. They should feel like a bunch of jackasses. They're so desperate for money that they're not going to get, begging those idiots for the money so they can fight a lost case. Jesus, take the school. Need to take the big wheel, the scooter, the bike, the moped. He need to take whatever the hell they're using as transportation down to this courthouse at this point. Set them down, Jesus. Set them down. Oh, shit. On will kind of sue them for this bullshit. I mean, I would. I'm not gonna even lie to you, because they've been trying to show on how petty they can be. But just think, if On wants to get on that level and get petty, like, this is a corporation they're fighting. You know, these people make millions of dollars, and these are average everyday Joes. You know, they had to form a GoFundMe just to even be able to go to court against On. So them taking a chance of having to pay On's legal fees, baby, they grandchildren will probably see that tab off if On decides they want their money back for what they spent on these doggone attorney fees. They think they made it a damn GoFundMe. They don't fuck around and be another Brene and have them $1 million lawsuits. They was suing for 100 mil. They fuck around and have $1 million to pay back. They just need to give up. Yeah, they should have just, I don't know, they should have faced off with Maurice. I mean, the first time they went after On, you kind of be like, okay, ain't nothing wrong with it. Go for it if you think you can. And then the second time, there's no excuse for the rest of that. No, it's okay, you tried and you got denied, move forward. But they just take no, and they made it seem like this lawyer just had this concrete evidence that was, no, we're gonna get. Don't know we got that. They filed this in Alabama. They are. They wanted to scream that to the top of their lung, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Oh my, is that you? Because you was one of the people that left that comment on my video saying that it's not over and I need to go check the docket. And we went over everything already, and we know they have a status hearing in March, baby. Let's put this back up there. We know they have a status hearing in March, okay? But we also know this case has been kicked out from the Supreme Court because their attorneys jumped the gun and filed an appeal on a case that was not over, okay? And that is why they got kicked out of that, So we've already established that they have a court date in March. It's a status hearing because the case was put on pause when they filed their appeal and their writ of mandamus, that also was denied. And I am familiar with the story of David and Goliath, but that story really does not apply here. OWN Network was not the enemy. Okay? OWN Network was not Goliath. OWN Network did not do anything. It was Maurice Scott that filed the defamation lawsuit. And if we're going to be completely 100% honest, he filed the defamation lawsuit line, reporting to the masses that he, an attorney, was once upon a time, not that long, kingpin. Yeah, they put that on that man's name. They attached that to that man's name. And so he then felt the need to go defamation lawsuit. Okay, that was he was within his rights. If someone lied on me and said that I was arrested for being a drug kingpin, I can respond however I want to respond. They call his name first. Okay, so we're gonna put that out there. And then what did they do? They filed a counterclaim. And so the beef was between them and Maurice. But what did they do after that? After filing their counterclaim, they added OWN Network on. And OWN Network was dismissed 4 separate times. So it's you're not going to paint this as an underdog story. Okay? So the writ of mandamus was denied, as well as the original appeal. And then it was sent from the Civil Appeals Court, to the Supreme Court, who also dismissed it for lack of jurisdiction arising from a non-final judgment. And we went over this earlier in the video, Knowledge 8. Okay? So it says the Alabama Supreme Court dismissed the appeal for lack of jurisdiction when the lower court judgment isn't final. And they still, meaning not all the claims or parties are resolved. They still had Maurice Scott, you know, the guy that all of this started with. They still had Maurice Scott on that case. So because they did not let fully out and they jumped the gun and they filed an appeal, they were kicked back down to the circuit court, the same circuit court that already dismissed your Goliath 4 separate times. Another CC showed the trial court order. Yes, it was on the screen. Shout out to Wente Talks. Y'all please go check out her live interview with these documents on YouTube a few hours ago, showing what we just went over, that their appeal was dismissed because they jumped the gun and filed an appeal on a case that was not over. They still had parties and claims to work out on their counterclaim. And since they did not address Maurice Scott and they had their eyes set on the Supreme down to the same court that dismissed them multiple. You said, have you reviewed the motion to set aside the order? Yeah. Well, they filed that motion back in July. And when they filed the motion, they filed an appeal and a writ of mandamus on it. And they asked for a stay while they pursued the appeal and while they pursued the writ of mandamus. Okay? We know they asked for that back in, here it is right here. And actually they filed this in September, but it was regarding the 725 order granting the dismissal. So you see right there in the number 2 box, Knowledge, it says the appellant Griffin also requests that this matter be stayed. So that matter would have been her counterclaim against Maurice Scott and OWN Network. She asked that it be stayed, and she asked for it to be put on pause, basically, while on appeal before the Alabama Supreme Court And while the matter is pending the issuance of writ of mandamus, they're so confident there. You see how they worded that? While this matter is pending the issuance of writ of mandamus, they just knew it was just pending. They just knew they were going to get that writ of mandamus. But here we see mandamus was denied. Here in the top right hand corner, it says order denying emergency petition for writ of mandamus. So they're right back to square one. The Circuit Court of Madison County, Alabama, that dismissed on. Now they have to go proceed with this case with who is Maurice Scott. Okay. So we're caught up on what's going on with the case. Carlos is paying their salaries with that. I used to work in Hollywood. The new trial judge has all the documents they need to rule on the uses. Our lawsuit is going to be thrown out to, yeah, they have to proceed with Maurice. They're against Maurice go, but we'll get a chance to see where Maurice's original petition of defamation goes. His case should be moving forward, his original lawsuit, as well as the YouTuber countersuit against him. That should be moving forward. Hi, love. Kiki, how are you? And knowledge, maybe you need to contact Maurice. It seems you guys have direct contact with Maurice. We have direct contact with Maurice. We read public documents that we pay for, and we're actually taking the time to Google what this stuff means that we don't understand, instead of just taking a word for it. Love. And if just because I can Google and public website, that means I'm in contact with Maurice Scott. How'd you jump to that conclusion? I think that was a further jump than they jumped to the Supreme Court. You jumped the gun even further than them. These documents I've had since they came out. These are old court documents, and you can go to Alicourt. Anybody can go to Alicourt website, make them an account, and pay for these documents. Go look them up. This right here is screenshots from the Alabama Public. The appeals right there. I left the title for you guys. Go to the appeals website for Alabama. This is public. You don't even have to make an account on their website to view this information. It's right there, baby. You got the case numbers of each of the claims. You see that y'all didn't notice that the case numbers are 3 different case numbers, okay? You guys can see all of this with the click of a button. It's free. These little screenshots is free. This right here, Miss Wente Talk paid for these documents. She dropped them on her channel. Go check them out. They are also available on Alicourt. You can buy them. You can buy this. This right here is Google. It's free. You got a phone, you got a laptop, you got a tablet. Yeah, hop on there and just Google this information that you want to know. Just Google it, you guys. You can Google all of this stuff, y'all. In contact with nobody you don't know, or no reality TV star or anybody outside. You ain't even got to come to YouTube for this. Pick up your phone always in your hand anyway. Pick it up and go look it up, y'all. Almost all of it. This right here, Google. It's free. You don't have to be in contact with nobody. Not nice try though, knowledge. Come from your real page. Your real page. You know, you trying to be subtle with it. but we know you from off the what Maurice Scott said. You from the other Google case number. You can Google the website where to find it. That's what you can Google. Official court documents are going to cost you. Go pay for them. They're right there. I show documents with all of this regarding um, my readings of the case filings. You can go on my channel, pull up any video on Maurice Scott and on this kind, and I guarantee you it's an official document in black and white that some people I'm not about to catch a felony over some people I don't know. I'm not about to alter any court documents. Crime. That is a felony. Okay. You cannot alter official court documents. Okay. So if those people from the other side ever felt like, because I've been accused. If I'm involved in a lawsuit and somebody is covering my case and they're information and altering court documents, I'm going to fucking report them. Yeah, I got a life too, knowledge, and it includes creating content and getting paid on YouTube. If you got a life, why are you here, love? Why are you here? Don't come over here. Wow. Who are you, beggar, or you Oma? Which one are you? And I get to live it, and I get to have the freedom to do these things called being creative and expressing myself. And yeah, I have freedom of speech as well. And I can create these videos and I can get paid for my time online creating these videos and talking to people in my chat. Isn't that wonderful? How social media has evolved to where you don't have to be the spectator. You can ask the person talking or the person seen on camera and expressing your opinions and talking out different topics and things that you outside of living your normal life. Isn't that wonderful? Knowledge get you some knowledge, y'all. Let's knowledge in here. Just I don't know what was the point. What was the reason? What was the reason? We already got honest and real context. Subbies. Thank you, Miss Mary White. Thank you, because like I said, those black and white documents, they don't lie. Those court documents actually issued from the actual court at this case is, yeah, those don't lie. I'm sorry. And it just is what it is. Facts, y'all. It just needs to get butt hurt about this. Nobody needs to get in their feelings about this. This is just a case that is ongoing, involving a few people. One we got to see on TV, the other we got to see on YouTube. Okay, I don't have a dog in the fight, but I have on this since one of the defendants first brought the case to YouTube, because I didn't go out searching for this. One of the people that was named in the case actually brought this to YouTube. Excuse me, and brought this to everybody's attention, and advised everybody if they wanted to report on it. Yeah, so that's how this even came along, and I've been reporting on it ever since. So yeah, I'm gonna see this through. It's nothing wrong with me providing that to my viewers. They've been here checking in on the updates, and we're gonna see the case through. I don't care who win. I ain't got to pay nobody. I ain't lied on no damn body. I don't care who wins the case. I don't care who. I don't care how much money they waste. I don't care. You see how that works? But I am gonna on it. That's just how that works. Exactly. We're just being nosy. Yeah, Mary White, like, damn. I don't see them trying to jump down nobody else threat. I don't see them trying to be passive aggressive with nobody else. Like, why are you coming over here bothering us? We're just seeing the case through, babes. We've been here since the beginning, babes. And that's what we're doing. Because y'all like to be in other people's business. Yeah, y'all do. Y'all like to be in other people's business. So that's what we doing. Mary White said, you ain't begging nobody. Tell him again. My God, on today. Tell him again, Miss Mary White. I ain't on here singing a sad love song. I ain't here begging for nobody money or nobody nothing. I ain't on here begging nobody. What you over here for? You ain't got no GoFundMe either. Tell them, Miss Mary White, you know something. You know something. You know something, Miss Mary White, and I got a life. You know something. The real. Oh, that's right. That's a lifetime. That's right. If they don't like it, they better do how I do it. But we all do research, and it's easy to find the truth by Googling it. Yes, it is. It's very easy to find all this stuff. I'm sorry that they they faves ain't brought them no update. We don't know what's going on with that. Maybe they should have brought them an update because they like sweet them sweet little nothing, and that ain't what we doing over here. Hi Tay, said hey T from TV and chat. Hi Tay, thank you for that tea you dropped earlier, girl. Yeah, we over here just doing another. You know, we just broke it down even further because yeah, we needed to and we wanted to. We just got some things clarified on how that heard multiple times did at what she did. She was a seasoned attorney. Well, she jumped the gun and hence with her illegal field trip to the Supreme Court. And they did not wait until their case and their claims and all of the other parties had come to a resolution. They didn't wait for that final order to be issued in the case before they submitted their appeal. Tay said, "Oh crap, I gotta watch from the beginning." Yes, Tay. It's some of the information you ran down. Ooh, look at stuff, knocking stuff over. Knowledge, girl, what you doing? You over here sending some juju this way? What you doing, Knowledge? You got quiet. Now shit knocking down, getting knocked over. What's going on? I'm just playing, yeah. But yeah, Tay, we went over some information, some tea that you dropped, and we just went over, the definition of why the case was kicked out of the Supreme Court. That's all. Just a little bit of stuff. They had to wait for the final rule. And so yeah, they'll still have that status hearing in March because the same courthouse that already dismissed on is now 5-0. They undefeated around here. Hold on, Miss Mary White, what did you say? I remember in one of the documents you read that they Maurice wasn't hired by OWN Network. I believe so. They're saying, I guess he's like an independent contractor through Kingdom Reign. Work. So he's an independent contractor for Kingdom Reign. And so he, in that case, he would not be employed. And the best I can break that down is by saying, for example, I went through it was a call center. It that picked up work from regular companies. AT&T, what they did was AT&T outsourced some of their call center jobs. So outsourced to these third-party companies. Hire people. So for instance, this third-party company, just say it was called Tom's. I went interviewed with Tom's. I got hired on with Tom's. And I found out, okay, Tom's, we're going to be working as a call center. And then you're like, okay, well, it's only a amount of major telephone companies. Who are we going to be a call center for? And you can be, customer service for other companies as well. But this was going to be specifically the phones. So we worked for AT&T, but I was not a direct employee for AT&T. I was an employee through Tom's. So then if I did something and someone decided to sue me, how are they then going to go after AT&T? AT&T is not the people who hired me, even though I'm taking their customer calls and I'm working in their system. My employer is Tom. And so that's how I for Kingdom Reign. Really, he works for himself and he works for Kingdom Reign, if that makes sense. Because independent contractor, you're in charge of. That's what I thought because he's under contract with Carlos King Entertainment. Yeah. Attorney fees. Yeah. So we should probably see a resolving that as well with the status hearing. Once the judge in the Madison County Courthouse, because Tay, when they requested that stay, when they went after the appeal and the writ of mandamus and they requested that stay, that is why the case has come to a temporary pause, because they had to go get that worked out. And then we found out that they wasn't even supposed to do that and they wasted their resources because they had. So OWN was just dismissed as a party, but they still had the claim, the lawsuit, and Maurice Scott to deal with. So they were supposed to wait until the final judgment on that came down before they went to filing any type of appeals. And that is why the judge document that you showed us on your that been here. I've repeated this a couple times, but that's just what we doing. That's really all I got, y'all. We just chit chatting. So that's why this was dismissed, and it says lack of jurisdiction from the non-final judgment. And then this, and we seen that the appeal for lack of jurisdiction, lower court isn't. So her counterclaim hadn't received the judgment. Are resolved. So since they still had Maurice Scott on that counterclaim, the whole issue was not resolved. And so they did what the court calls filed a premature appeal. And I would have thought their attorney knew about premature appeals, but they said, she seemed to be up in age and had been practicing for many, many years. I don't know why she didn't premature. Dismissed the counterclaim altogether. That other judge just skipped past that. No, Tay, what happened was the other, they went to another court. So it was on them. The judge can't do anything because they requested the stay. They brought the case to a pause when they said they were going after an appeal and they were going to get the writ of mandamus. So, because I pulled up the original order that they filed, their appeal notice. So this was their appeal notice that they filed September 3rd, 2025. And I'm not going to read everything, but it was basically their notice of appeal. And down there in the second part, it says Appellant Griffin also requests that this matter is stayed. So they wanted the whole case while on appeal before the Alabama Supreme Court, and while this issuance of a writ of mandamus. So they just counted on that they were going to file this with the other courts and the higher court, rather, because they sent it to the Supreme Court and the appellate court. So they were trying to get the higher court to force the Madison County Circuit Court to do something because they were mad that OWN got dismissed. So they stayed the case. Okay. So the judge that just retired, and they couldn't do anything in the case until this got ironed out. So they requested the stay and they went to the civil appeals first, right? And then what they did was they transferred it to the Supreme Court. And then when they transferred it to the Supreme Court denied their writ of mandamus, but they still had the appeal. So then today, the appeal was denied. So now it got kicked back down to the same circuit court, because right there in the third box, it says if the Alabama Supreme Court dismisses both of your appeal and your petition for writ of mandamus, the stay, remember they requested a stay on the trials court order, is immediately lifted and the lower court regains full jurisdiction to enforce the original order. So the original order was them dismissing OWN with prejudice. So now they can move forward with the case. The case is no longer on stay because it's been lifted. So that was what happened. The other judge didn't ignore the motion. They basically had to let this run its course. So they had to let the higher court kick it back down to them. And now when they have this status hearing, they will take into consideration that the writ of mandamus was denied, dismissed, the appeal was dismissed, and they can move forward. And so, like I was telling the people that were here, they're going to move forward. But to me, in my opinion, it's no doubt in my mind that this case will move forward without OWN. This is the same court that's dismissed it 4 times. I don't care they got a new judge. Even when you get a new judge, judges are not in the habit of overturning other judges' rulings, especially when you ain't got no law behind you to back up your reason why you feel like it should be overturned. No, that judge that retired, dismissed OWN 4 separate times, that order is now in effect, and they have to move forward from that. Damn. Tay said I'm going in and out. I don't know why I'm going in and out, y'all. Maybe it's like, baby, it's time to pack it up. You've been here an hour. That's YouTube's way of telling me, baby, pack it up, pack it up. Yep, practicing doing taxes. Who doing taxes? You doing taxes, Tay? They're going to have a big GoFundMe party to raise the funds, and those fools are going to believe her and fill her scamming pockets. Power to them, baby. If they want to donate their money to that, hey, go ahead, right on ahead. I promise I'm not trying to stop y'all. I'm just putting the truth out here, baby. That's all. We just seeing the case through. I don't care if they make her ass filthy rich over there off of GoFundMe. I promise I don't care. We just seeing this case through. We've been, keeping up with the updates since it started, and that's just what we here for, no matter who don't like it. It's no way. They can say I'm biased. I can throw my little jokes in because motherfuckers talk shit on their platforms. They throw subs. They have publicly disparaged my channel. So yeah, I can throw my jabs in here and there, but I really don't give two shits about this shit. This is content for me, so I'm gonna follow the case. But that's just what we're here to do. They try to think it's gonna be personal. It ain't personal, baby. We seeing this case through. Ain't that what you wanted? Karen Huffy does taxes. Oh well, baby, she need to stick to doing taxes because the way she been collecting funds according to them, and she ain't been doing what a lawyer would do. Because I wish I would pay $1,000, over $1,000 in fees to file an appeal when my attorney should have known we shouldn't have been filing no appeal at all right now. We were supposed to work this case out. They were supposed to proceed with this case and see how it turned out with Maurice Scott. And once the judge issued the final order in the case, if it was in their favor, good. You ain't got to do nothing else. If it was in Maurice's favor, then they were supposed to start filing the fucking appeals. They didn't jump the gun and start filing the appeals as soon as the judge removed on. And it's like, why y'all so focused on? Y'all shouldn't have been. I know they got the bigger pockets, but that's not who y'all claim did something to y'all. Y'all claim Maurice was out here trying to get y'all information, and Maurice was subpoenaing people to get y'all fucking financials. Y'all claim Maurice did that. Exactly. They won't say that in court, that they can't overturn another judge ruling. My sister works for the court as a PI here in California, and she explains everything to me. Yeah, I've said it before. Everybody know what the justice system is like, and those judges, and I know some people who deserve stuff to be overthrown, and they don't get it. And it's like, I'm not gonna lie, this is not no bias speaking. These people have not produced anything that they said they were going to produce. Otherwise, the court wouldn't have kept dismissing on. I don't care. Those fucking amendments, they had 4 chances in the circuit court. 4 chances to get on to be stuck in this lawsuit. And each time they was adding pages and pages and pages. And I don't know if they thought the fucking judge was just going to stop reading that shit at page 29 or some shit. Because that's 100 pages. I don't know if they thought the judge was going to stop reading it halfway through. It was like, okay, these bitches added more pages, so they must have some type of evidence. No matter how long the motherfuckers got, the judge still kept dismissing them. So obviously y'all didn't have anything. And just going through some of them pages, most of the pages, because they had like 70 some pages, going through that stuff, when I tell y'all, I know people reiterate stuff in legal jargon. It's repetitious, a lot of the same stuff. But when I tell you, they whole document, it was like they had probably about 30 pages of stuff, and then the rest was just them keep reiterating the same stuff. No, babe, I don't know if they thought they was gonna bore the judge into their favor, or what they thought was going on. But yeah, so when I say I don't believe that OWN is going to this case, I truly don't. And I don't think nobody should. Shit, they done got dismissed 4 times. The last time with prejudice, the judge said, "Okay, now enough is enough. Enough is enough now. If y'all not gonna stop, I'm gonna stop you, motherfuckers." What prejudice? Bring this shit back here. But yeah, so a judge is not just finna overturn that. just because that judge retired, and that was going to be one of their standing point. Oh, we got a new judge. Y'all didn't get a new judge for no other reason than this motherfucking judge retired. The judge retired. That's why you got a new judge. And that last judge, that shit is still finna stand. That judge is not overturning that. So they have to move forward with this case with Maurice Scott. And in my opinion, and this still isn't a bias, I don't think they're going to win the claim against Maurice. And that's not me being biased. That's me looking at the fucking facts of this case and me making a guess, an educated guess. You know, my hypothesis is that this damn case is going nowhere fast. They say ain't nobody giving them no damn money. Hey, they getting a hot dime. Them people ain't giving them no damn money, Craig. Ain't no damn money. Because they're turning. And I damn sure when if y'all have wasted the first few dollars I done gave y'all ass and y'all keep coming back here with nothing, keep coming back here with empty-handed motherfucking no. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Shit. Because the attorney is anonymous, and when them courts put their pieces together, they going to jail. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. And she is a real attorney. So if she really is behind this ghost writing of these documents, as some have alleged, child, she need to be glad they suspended her shit. She need to be glad they her shit back. Because, girl, what are you doing? Like, I mean, damn, you out here operating outside of the rules. You out here doing your motherfucking moonlighting. And you mean to tell me you fucking up shit? And you supposed to be an attorney? Like, bitch, what was you doing? What's going on? I don't understand how she out this bitch moonlighting as somebody else, and she is a real attorney, and she ain't getting it right. Something ain't right. They only going to get Kimmy and her dry libido. Look, they ain't getting Kimmy dry libido, baby. She saving all that for Eddie Murphy. She ain't finna let nothing go. That shit. Eddie Murphy finna be all up in the courtroom now. Let me hear, he finna be all up in here with his suits and shit on. It's his time to shine now. I guess we gonna get back to the basics. We gonna see. Y'all know Maurice was out here claiming he was a damn good attorney. We gonna see battle of the D-list attorneys, goddamn. Because I still don't trust Maurice and Karen over there 0 and 5, baby. The SCO board. She ain't put shit on the SCO board yet. She had over a year and a half. Take her out the fucking game, coach. Take her out the game, coach. She don't even need to be a motherfucking bench warmer. She need to be the water boy. Yeah. What Gucci said, the water boy just go and get the water. Goddamn that. She's on water duty. Don't let her touch none now. Don't let her sign another document. Don't let her type or chat GPT, whatever. Don't let her do none of that. Don't let her Google another motherfucking case law. They took her license. They need to and her from the motherfucking law library. She needs on a trespassing list at the courthouse. All of that. We just over it, baby. She's 0 and 5, baby. They done went 5 rounds and got knocked out each one. Hang it up. Hang it up, because the attorney is anonymous. Yep. Keep me dry libido. If I was a judge, if you send me more than 10 pages, I would have thrown it out. Next, yeah, they thought they was gonna bore that motherfucking judge. They like, okay, he gonna get, well, it was a woman. They like, she gonna get lost in the sauce. We gonna keep saying this shit. We gonna keep rewording it. We gonna just keep repeating ourselves, and she just gonna be goddamn delirious by the time she done reading this shit. And she just it, third bite at the apple, but it didn't had too many. They 0-5 now. They didn't change motherfucking. Look, they didn't have games at their home. They didn't have games away, and they didn't just lost all the motherfuckers. Just okay. Let me stop clicking because. Anyone with cis can see they will lose. Hopefully, both Fester and on to FBI. Mm-hmm. What they said, like they are literally putting in court docs that cast members. I hope so. All they're going to get is lint out the pockets. Not lint, Miss Mary. Like they're literally. We're trying to lure BT out of her safe place so the fans can unalive. They story had more twists and turns than where they was going. Just when you thought crazier, they. One of them talking about people pulling up with tent, even though don't nobody know how she look according to her, but people following her with tinted out windows with loud music in Atlanta of all places. Miss Black Titanic claimed everybody trying to kill her, unalive her. It's just too much. They claiming people mailing them boo boo, people hacking they goddamn bank accounts. That they went too far. Like they done said some motherfucking straight jacket worthy type lies around this motherfucker. Nurse, she's escaping. Nurse, you need a bigger needle. Cause the shit they around here talk about, I don't know. Yeah, it's the paranoia for me. Is they over there smoking on that ganja? Where got their minds all twisted up like that? Why? What type of motherfucking urban fiction is they living in? I want to know. What the fuck? I don't know. I don't understand what type of books they done read that in their mind that people following them, people trying to unalive them. She said was gonna, and it's like you claim like look, nothing like that. I had a feeling that when this came, but I think it wouldn't go this far. Yeah, I don't know. Type of fucking we like to stick to the facts over here. We like to err on the side of logic, or I like to keep it. You know, sad that they were willing to even go for money, man. That's all with money and a little bit of YouTube fame. That's all they wanted, money. I know their eyes got wide when they thought they had a case against motherfucking own over there listening to Rick James. It's like y'all seen that freak was in y'all mind that y'all was like, yeah, it's a good idea. I'm finna waste this money and I'm finna just keep going. And I know it wasn't their money, so that's why money, because they feel like they were gonna use other people's money to get them a payday. So it didn't matter how much it cost because they weren't coming out of the pocket. Just too big. For that shit out, y'all got a nice chunk of little change and y'all actually wasted it with your dumb asses. Like y'all scammed and y'all really wasted it. So it's like, but then again, who knows what kind of fees they actually had, you guys. They saying they had attorney fees, but we over here, we've had some allegations that it was not a new attorney. So, and then in certain cases, some courthouses, if you're low income, like BT is on a fixed income. You can get your court fees waived in some states when you're low income. So maybe they did get a chance to ball out. Maybe they didn't have to. Real. The only receipt True T ever was happy to hop up on her doggone screen and show was that $1,000 for the appeal. That was the only, and she didn't even really show a receipt on her end. She showed that it was paid for through the courts. So okay, y'all paid $1,000, but that was after the original GoFundMe. That was when you came on YouTube and said that you had an emergency and you claimed it was for yourself, but then you turn around and goddamn allegedly used it for the appeal. So it's like that was the only receipt they even showed these people. So who knows? Maybe they did get a chance to ball out, and maybe it all wasn't wasted on the court documents. They scammed them damn selves. Yeah, they is. They was around here hustling backwards. They made that lady retire. Yeah, she probably was already close. You feel me? And she probably was gonna finish the year out, Tay. The judge probably was gonna finish the year out. She like, it's November. She probably said, fuck this shit. That lady probably had an end of a year retirement party ready for her. She was gonna close 2025 out being her last year as a judge, and they done ran that motherfucking lady up a wall that she said, fuck that. November is good. She like, this good enough. This close enough. Take this goddamn gown and this robe back, and you deal with these motherfuckers. Because I'm up out of here. Peace and hair grease. Because she sure ran up out of the courtroom. She got tired looking at Helen's empty mouth and shaggy wig. No, Miss Mary. Oh, Lord, not the shaggy rug, shaggy wig. Not the shake and go special. Not the pop on your head and go. I'm surprised she didn't hit everybody up and said she needed a new hairdo. It's giving disability retirement. The Supreme Court probably told her they were sending that case back to her court, and she was like, deuces. Okay. And she already knew. I know the judge was shaking her head when they first filed the appeal, because the judge know the law. So you would think. So look, y'all, this is what's so funny to me. What I find funny when it comes to the legal system. They knew these motherfuckers was jumping the gun and running to file an appeal, and they didn't have the right to file an appeal. Lord, y'all. I guess I'm getting sleepy. I'm around this motherfucker just saying shit. But the courts knew that these motherfuckers didn't have a right, and it was too early for them to file an appeal because the case was still ongoing. They still had other parties, which was Maurice, attached to the fucking lawsuit. But the court was like, okay, bitch, you want to go spend your money. You want to go spend your time over there. Go ahead. Because you'll be back. You'll be back. So I'm sure when they first filed that motherfucking notice of appeal, Karen Hall was like, thank you, Yord. She probably like, thank you, Yord. Like, yeah, let me get these motherfuckers out my hair for the next few months, and then I'm going to go ahead and just dip out. Hang this shit up. Because she like, by the time they double back, by the time those motherfucking idiots figure out that wasn't the move they supposed to make, I'm going to be gone about this, leaving them for the next motherfucker. They only have 3 judges in Alabama, and the 4th retired. Mary, why I'm not blah blah. Would you do that? Is that fact, Miss Mary? Because they about do. I only got about a good 3. The Oya special. I was on her live once and she left her teeth in the car. When she drove off, she had to go back and find them. I was hollering, not leaving the teeth. She better put a motherfucking air tag on them motherfuckers. She better motherfucking to the motherfucking dentures so she can all. Cause baby, you can't be out this motherfucker bare mouth. Oh my, oh my. That what you can't do, baby. You can't be out this motherfucker snag a tooth. Nah, you can't be out here motherfucking words. Nah, you gotta have them teeth, man. Don't lose them. Or that's gonna be the next motherfucking GoFundMe. She's gonna be around here talking about, I can't eat my food. I can't have no salads. Because my teeth, somebody stole my, they had a security system at home and stole my teeth. So if y'all could, my daughter, she been getting bullied online. We got the GoFundMe and my Cash App. So if y'all just drop a few dollars in my Cash App and my GoFundMe, I really appreciate it. The Lord gonna bless you and I'll be able to get back to eating my side. The Supreme Court bullying her and not respecting elders. Yeah, y'all know it's always got an excuse. They always gotta be a victim, and that was a flag. Y'all just the fucking victim. Like I just don't understand it. How people even it was more than annoying. They and they were just out to fucking get people. And it was so crazy that they brought all this shit down, but that be that guilty conscience. She was so ready to go after people and the people that she really was her own downfall. And I told that bitch, I swear I did. I told her when she started trying to speak all that ill shit over my life and over all of us, saying she hope our channels fail and we don't do this and we ain't gonna be this shit. When I told her, watch your mouth. Tongue is very powerful. And right now you're coming up against people that ain't done you nothing. Nobody did shit to you. And you speaking some strong, hateful words, ma'am, you're gonna get that back. I don't care, you're gonna get that back. And especially coming after me unprovoked. Miss Ma'am, I know people don't like to believe in astrology, but I'm telling you, being ruled by Big Papa, Saturn, they don't play. You're gonna get your karma. Motherfuckers better realize you can't play. You can't be out here going after people unjust. That's not how the universe works, baby. You can't attack people that ain't done you nothing, that has not done you any type of injustice. You can't do that. And she was just wilding. And what the song say? She don't know what she doing. The bitch just giving it out. That bitch was around here just giving it out. Everybody, people that ain't ever said shit to her. I've never said nothing about this lady. That bitch was just giving it out left and right. Anybody can get it. She was talking about people, kids, people, motherfucking body parts, they surgery, and it's like, girl, do you not know? You down there living in Atlanta, and you're older. Like, bitch, you're older than me. You got about a good 20 plus years on me, and you don't know that speaking on shit like that speeds up that karma. Speaking on innocent kids, speaking on situations, baby, God will really circle and spin the block. Talking about PBE kidney and stuff like that, girl. That stuff you don't put your mouth on. You don't say shit like that. I don't care how mad you don't say stuff like that. People stuff that's out of people's control and stuff like that happens to them. You don't say that stuff. Because I promise you, as quick as you say it, God will make you experience it. And girl, you got kids, grandkids. Even if it don't hit you, it'll hit one of them. Like people better watch their mouth. I don't live by nothing. I know this tongue is powerful, baby. And we speak and we bring things into existence. And when you would send that energy towards people that ain't did nothing to you, baby, it's coming back. And that same hole she dug for us said our channels was gonna fail. Look what happened. It didn't stick to nobody. That shit found her. Her energy stayed with her. And she fucked up her own fucking channel. Now look at her. The other one might been gone too. Cause she either around there trying to lay low tay because y'all got that case coming up in a few weeks. Y'all got y'all hearing coming up, so either that got her laying low or YouTube took that other channel as well. It's one or the other. She either scared because she know that motherfucking hearing with Tay finna come up, so she trying to stay off. Or either they took her motherfucking channel. I need some money for gas. Like, girl. She must have left the motherfucking Stormy warehouse too. Because her ass ain't had nothing to say when Stormy popped out that bag on her ass. All of them are their own iPhone. They really are. They think people don't see them, but I see them. A lot of other people see them. They are too. It's only a matter of time. Girls now they're gonna have to lay in. I know that's real. Miss Mary White, they got to lay there. Especially with me. I thought everybody was scared of her. Hold on, what you said? She got cocky and thought everybody was scared of her. Yeah, love key, she did. And it was so crazy because people was, and I know myself personally, I speak for myself, like, girl, I let you slide. Girl. But you know what they say. You give a bitch a mile, baby. Give them an inch, they take a mile. It never gave scared over this way. I'm just too fucking old to be on the internet. And she older than me, so she should have felt damn embarrassed. I'm not about to argue with no motherfucking bitch that I never fucking saw and never saw me. And we won't cross paths because we don't do the same shit. Like, girl, go sit down somewhere. So I let her slide a couple times before I just had to go on and say, look here, bitch. And then when you think about it, it's like, yeah, I can give you these words because that's exactly what you're looking for. So let me give you these words. You feel me? But it's like, I'm not going to get myself too upset because y'all are keyboard gangsters. Y'all are internet gangsters. You popping this shit on the internet, ma'am. You're online. Because if I get worked up, then the words won't do justice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, girl, bye. Get from around here. But yeah, she picked and picked and picked with fucking everybody. People try to ignore her. And it's just like, girl, who you think scared of you? Ain't nobody scared of you. And why you think you should you should get the chance to just talk to everybody crazy and nobody just say nothing back to you? Like, baby, who you feeling like? Like, she really started feeling like she was out her motherfucking body. Had to be. Because, bitch, who you really think you is, girl? Everybody know how to cuss. Everybody know how to call another woman a bag of bitches. Everybody know how to do that. Everybody know how to roast a little bit. Bitch, you over here roasting and talking about people looks that never seen you. But you were never real enough to pop your ass out. You claimed you looked so motherfucking good. Well, what you was so scared of? What the fuck were you so scared of? You didn't want people to associate with the fuck you were saying with you. You was trying to protect your real life, but you was around here popping it like you didn't give a fuck. Even the playing field. Show yourself if you want to talk about looks. Because I had no problem with showing myself, baby. Because not a bitch walking this God, Green Earth don't convince me that I'm ugly. But it's just a reason. Now I see why it was a reason I started a faceless channel, even with this beef, because it's like, girl, it just would have did any different things. So I'm gonna just let time pass, and eventually I will hop on camera. And I don't give a fuck what a bitch got to say, because one thing about it, I ain't gonna pop out like them other butter faces. I ain't talking no shit from behind the screen, popping out, looking like a motherfucking troll. That's all they are, nothing but keyboard gangsters. And when you meet them in public, they're scared as heck. Yeah, I can believe it. A bunch of haters. A bunch of haters, man. Because a lot of shit wasn't even cause for. Child, they gonna say I only cuss because I was trying to be like her. Say, I swear. Then when they start saying that, I'm like, people is fucking delusional for real. Because I'm gonna be real. In my everyday life, when I'm talking, I do cuss a little too much. So I try to refrain from that. But then when I got on YouTube, y'all don't know, it was this thing to where I seen another video. I think I shared it where the content creator was saying like he was struggling doing his content, and then he would find himself like damn near speaking like he on a fucking job interview. And I would find myself doing that too, just like trying to refrain from like cussing or using too much slang, because that's why I had to stop listening back to myself, because it would be cringy to me. Like especially when it came to videos on the cast and talking about the cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville and like really calling them out their name and just going so hard. When I would do my pre-recorded videos, and you would have to listen back to yourself, of course, because you're editing it. And so I would hear myself talking, and I'm like, damn, did I go too hard? Like, why am I going so hard? I don't know these people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what kind of drew me back from like talking regular. So it was like a little thing I fell into, because especially reading court documents. But then I had to think about it like, I want to be me on my YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I know how to talk. I know proper English, but I also use a lot of AAVE. And I'm not dumb, but I also don't want to get on my channel every day acting like I'm in fucking corporate America, like I'm at a fucking job. I want to be myself. So I don't think anything's wrong with a little cursing here and there. But it's like, yeah, they thought motherfuckers was trying to be like other people because they cursed every other word out their mouth. And it's like, no, I'm just getting more comfortable. You know, that's what happens when you're getting more comfortable on your platform and you're getting used to coming on. You're more of yourself, and your personality is going to come out. Like this December just made 2 years for me doing content on YouTube, even though this year was slower than it was supposed to be because of all this drama and me taking breaks and not really prioritizing it anymore. So, but it's like the more comfortable you get, the more of your personality you're going to show. And like, it's like I say, I've been on here 2 years now, and I don't think you guys even got to see half of my personality. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not just me. This is not all of me. Like, you know, so it's just the more people, the more content you do, the more you get on here, the more you talk and interact with people, you're going to get more relaxed and you're going to show more yourself. It's not about being like somebody else. It's like, no, this is me. She's just slowly coming out, you know? That's all. But you also don't go around dogging people. Oh no, I don't go around talking about people's looks. I don't. I don't. I don't. Mm-mm. And that's just not me at all. You know, I'm not finna do that. Talking about people. People can't change the way they look, but it's these motherfuckers that's on here with the audacity, and you got to give them that reality check. Like, bitch, we really were being nice. We were. Because motherfuckers, if we were as nasty as some of the people that's on here, we would have been dogging their ass out from the jump. I'm talking about from the jump, because girl, they around here popping it like they really big shit. And that's why I say they didn't get attention when they was younger, because baby, I know those mugs didn't change much from when y'all was motherfucking little gals. When I was them little girls, them mugs ain't changed. Y'all is a motherfucking 3. Like, come on now. But y'all around here dogging people for their looks and then popped out, and then people still be trying to play in your face. You're beautiful, girl. Quit lying. Now, we ain't even sparing nobody that's around bodying people and dogging other people out about their looks. And it's always the ugly bitches. I never see no pretty bitches out here just really dogging a bitch off the dribble. I never see that. It's always the ugly and the facially challenged that try to bring looks into it. And I blame society. And I blame people that just because they like you, they just lie to your face. Like, they just lie to the motherfuckers. And it's like, y'all around here talking about people, talking about people fat. And it's like, bitch, everybody, the one with no curves, that probably feel like they laying across the fucking jungle gym, hard body ass, that body. You gonna talk about a woman that got a little extra cushion? When a motherfucker probably feel like they hugging a 2x4 when they wrap their arms around your ass. Okay. You were so sweet, T from TV. When I first subscribed to your channel, you made me feel better because of the calmness in your voice. Oh, thank you, Miss Mary White. Thank you. I am sweet, y'all. I promise that's me. I say to myself, that's me in my everyday life. But I have a switch too. I'm gonna always be justified. I really am. Like, again, people don't like astrology, but I am an Aquarius. I'm a humanitarian. I love people. I don't like to see people bullied or face any type of justice. That's just not me. I'm a rebel and I stand up for people. I don't like bullies. I damn sure ain't gonna let nobody bully me. So I am definitely a sweetheart. That would never change about me. But I'm not a pushover. I'm not a punk, and I'm not nobody that can be bullied. I'm really not. I'm really not. But I'm not gonna attack nobody. No. But if you come around that corner and you think you're gonna handle me kind of way, yeah, you about to meet a whole nother person. You really are. 400 pounds. Who's this guy with your weight 400 pounds? Who? Let me see what y'all talking about. You didn't tell who didn't get attention as kids. Yeah, you can. And that is a thing, a reoccurring thing with these people, not just on YouTube, on TikTok as well, just social media across the board. It's been a lot of people that have gotten that attention or that popularity as kids, and they did social media, and they social media end up popping, followers, and people are siding with them. People are building these fucking parasocial relationships. COVID, motherfuckers wasn't going out into the world, and people were really online and getting more invested in other people's lives. Now, we already had a problem with the phones and the social media before COVID, but then COVID came and locked it down, and it really just made build these social relationships, and they just ride for people without even thinking anymore. And so people, that's like a stroke to their little ego, and they really get the big head off that shit, and they build these platforms, and they just really get beside themselves and start talking people crazy, and just like on TikTok, you always commentary yappers, whether it's everybody commentary basically, and then motherfuckers just the yapping to a whole nother level. And I equated you all these crazy ass comments. Somebody down in my comments and they was talking me an idiot. Like it's coming from bitches they rights. But then I remembered like this is a fucking bitch on the they're behind a fake page. Fuck them. And so and deleted the comment. Not saying that a motherfucker in the future if they don't come correct. Somebody might do get read they rights. But it's like you people feel so comfortable putting these comments under my video and talking this shit to me because you're in the comfort of wherever you are, far, far, far away. And I just don't rock with them type of people. I'm not being gangster when there's no repercussion behind my actions. I'm not built that way. You don't get no cool points for doing stuff like that. Like the lame ass people from their childhood. They never got to speak up for themselves. They probably were bullied or probably were like the outcasts or the lame students or the girl. And now she just goes after all the pretty ones like she do. So it's just like, y'all are great. Yes, Miss Mary. He said you definitely can tell who the intention. Miss Mary said that's right. I'll bite your ass if you rub me the wrong way. I'm talking about a deadly bite too, Miss Mary. I don't be having time. Tay's facial expressions is what gets me and makes me laugh. Yeah, Tay is funny. I love Tay. Tay always got me laughing. Tay be on the same kind of like wavelength too, because Tay can come and say some shit and I be like, yep, Tay. Yeah, and you ain't got to agree with somebody on every single thing because we are individuals and we think different, but a lot of us think the same, so it's just like we here to have fun. They around here fake pretending like a motherfucker. Yeah, they is a whole bunch of motherfuckers. They always throwing shots, hiding their motherfucking hands. And it's like, girl, we see you. It's not that deep. It is not that deep. Motherfucking butterfaces, man. It's crazy. And at their age, these are grown women. So it's like, well, at what point does the nastiness and the cattiness and the hatefulness stop? And it's just jealousy and all that stuff. And I don't care. They can say what they want. Them picking her side, even though nobody gave a fuck and nobody said y'all couldn't pick your side, it just really let us know what the fuck, who y'all are on a more deeper level. Y'all try to dumb yourselves down. They try every angle, and that's just what really blew me. And that's when I really knew it was time to not give these motherfuckers no real energy, no real second thought. It's like because y'all are trying every angle to make this woman seem justified in what the fuck she's doing as a very grown adult online. Damn well bullshit was focused on y'all, it would be different. The reason she didn't focus a lot of that on certain people with their big platforms is because she found them useful. And people like us, we see through that. And some people just want their egos stroked and they willing to take it from anybody else. And some of them were already a little bit mad at certain people that we were what they call it, canoodling. They had their different reasons to be mad with people they were canoodling with. So they chose her side out of convenience on some the enemy of my enemy is my friend type shit, you know? Because let's be opinion, I feel like Queen Sheba only really, we know she has her, what did I say? What I said. We know she has that biased with her platform when all that shit first kicked off and Miss Black Titanic and Uppity and she let Uppity up and but the how she was moving with that. I had requests to come up and I wasn't allowed up, so I stopped requesting, and I was listening to Uppity and I was just seeing people in the chat just dragging Uppity and the people on the stage. You could just tell the of what I want to say. You can tell the type of environment that they had basically made this thing acceptable, And for some reason, it's like I can't find my words, but I know exactly what I want to say. But the shit ain't coming out. But okay, yeah, they fostered that type of environment where it was no change in anybody's mind. Not to say that anybody mind because I know she wasn't. We all were there for the same reason to defend our name, and when basically we're not gonna start from where it began. And she didn't want to let Uppity tell the entire story. So I knew then, when they like, no, we don't want to talk about it. I don't care where it started. Just how did Black Titanic become content? How can I explain to you how we got here? Start from the beginning because the beginning matters. And I've said that before. You can't start anywhere. You can't get nothing resolved starting in the middle. So I knew people don't want to hear your side because they already dislike you. And they already disliked Uppity for the little shit that had went on with her and Queen Sheba. So I truly believe, and these are my opinions, is that when Uppity and Queen Sheba, they were going back and forth a little bit on YouTube. I truly believe that's when she decided to be like on some, I am going to subtly, not so subtly, because we have an issue. We both, or we all three of us, have an issue with Uppity. No, those same people need to. Because at the end of the day, I don't care who you like. We've said it sometimes, right is right, wrong is. It's like, don't lose your motherfucking morals for a motherfucker on the internet. Okay? Because I don't even lose my morals for family. Now, I may not publicly reprimand my family, but when we're home, I'm letting them know, like, no, you were wrong for that, this. And then even in public, if I know that they're wrong, I'm not even finna, excuse me, be loud trying to defend them with my people as far as putting their hands on them. But if they arguing with somebody or they doing this, I'm not gonna even jump into it if I know they're wrong. I'm gonna let them hash that out, and then when we get back to ourselves, but then for a stranger, for them to try to dig their morals, they got up with their stuff with Empress when she got a pound. She's like, no, True T only talked about her because Empress said that let's see, Empress made fun of her being celibate. This is a grown ass lady. get the D anytime she want to get the D. I'm assuming, I don't think any woman has a problem getting the D. These men will literally hump on anything moving. So she's gonna get so mad about something that's supposed to be your choice. I heard you so mad that she said something about you being celibate that you go to talk about a child. That don't make no fucking sense. Okay? And I Empress name in this, and I'm not trying to drag her back in this because she has already announced that she left the sector. She don't want nothing else to do with Love and Marriage Huntsville. And like, I haven't officially said I left the sector, but as far as the atmosphere of everything else, I don't give two fucks about. I'm gonna keep up with these cases and see them through. But yeah, fuck the sector. I fuck with the subbies that fuck with me. I fuck with the content creators that fuck with me. So I'm not trying to drag Empress back in anything. But I'm just saying that there proved it too. Because how does that make sense? You trying to justify it. Like, girl, but then when Queen Sheba tries to get them to understand, like, no, that's the baby, and either one of y'all would go for your child, and then y'all agree that kids are off limit, then they're yeah. Now y'all all can agree that kids are off limit, but you just really sit here and try to justify this woman calling baby a bastard multiple times. So I knew then the people we were dealing with were just not smart. They had no morals. They just didn't make no motherfucking sense. They just didn't like us just to not like us, and that's fine. Just stand on it. Don't try to justify what the fuck this lady is doing because you don't people, so I don't care how she treating them or how she talking about them. I respect that more. Trying to justify her all in her comments talking about some, you only respond, True T, you only respond after y'all done watch this fucking lady drag Caramel Rail for over a fucking year. Literally. After y'all watched her drag this lady for over a year, she was responding. After y'all watched her literally name over 10 whole different people, 10 whole individuals by name, and call these people out on her channels multiple times, she's responding. So I knew then it was a scheme that Todd set up, y'all. We was never gonna fucking win. It ain't about winning. But what I'm saying is that our points weren't gonna never get across to the motherfuckers because they were purposely misunderstanding us, And I seen a meme the other day that basically described that was fake stuff because she just and her member that day about Empress. Oh yeah. And by that time for lack of a better word, what the fuck her thoughts were. And her issue with uppity, it should have just remained that. And I don't care. I feel like she should have just stayed out of it. They can try to say that all of us had, like, oh, it was so many of y'all, but we were literally called by separate issue because this lady is boycott our channels, but we're not. All of a sudden, we're the bad guys. All of I just feel like she shouldn't have. Her issue with uppity did not have to turn into a platform to support True T. And that's just my feelings, you know, because you did. You did that. And yeah, your people, if they wanted to believe that, then whatever. But it's just like, don't come under the guise of peace. So that was my real whole issue with it, because she made it seem like she was just to have an try to resolve it to see could we move forward from it, and that was not what she was doing. That's not what you were doing, because you would have remained neutral, and you could have gave your opinions and how you felt. It was just how she went about it. That's what it boils down. You tried to make your subscribers and the public believe that, oh, I'm just a peacemaker, or oh, I'm just providing everybody with a neutral ground to discuss. It wasn't. It was already rigged against us with you, and it was just already rigged. People weren't getting the proper chance to express themselves and say what was going on. So it's like you didn't plan on getting. That's truly what it was. And that hit a nerve when it was suggested that she get some D. Yeah, because it's like, bitch, loosen up. Shit. And she ain't have to go get no D. The bitch should have ran and got a rose. She could have ran and got anything, but it was like, bitch, you need to blow off some steam somewhere else. Because you just sending shots at everybody is crazy. That scene. Yeah. Willfully, they were. They were willfully being ignorant and purposely miss point of view but hers. So that's what really let me know critical thinkers, morals. You're not dealing with people see bullshit and call bullshit for what it is. You're not dealing with like that. You're dealing with a bunch of angry, delicate hearted, mean spirited people. And they just all are unhappy in one way or another, and they're just ready and willing to take that out on anybody else that they can find. It's mentality that goes to creators and their subscribers. Is what happened with them. um it just all comes with a territory. And so I could see how some YouTube go live. I can see that they just come on, they do their pre-recorded videos, and they get the fun with subbies. They don't socialize, and I understand a part of it. I can see why people chose to do that as creators here, because online is nuts. People really just disregard and just talk to you any kind of way, and it's crazy. And Uppity didn't even do nothing to them, and the fact that they attacked her when her mom was sick is diabolical. It really is. Because like I said, that pack mentality. This person got an issue with you. Now everybody got an issue with you. Everybody disregarding your feelings. Everybody trying to make you out to be the bad guy. But it's like, I thought we were all grown. And I thought if it was a fair fight, then you know what I'm saying? Even exchange, no, grown. And everybody could defend themselves. Need no help. So then why all y'all start trying to team up and jump on Uppity? You know what I'm saying? You have subscribers coming talking shit, just swearing they know what it is. sit quiet. Go over there to that person you're supporting channel and stay over there. And for a long time, they wasn't doing that because they was coming to my channel, commenting, saying a lot of shit. And eventually it slacked up and slowed down. And I'm glad it did. You still get a few here and there. But it's like for a minute, they was really, who all of y'all feeling like? I promise. Who y'all feeling like? And then, like I said, you click on some of these comments, especially on Instagram and other stuff. You click on some of these calls to these people that's talking shit. And it's like, bitch, really? She was throwing rocks behind her, and that's what they do. No, it was Jasmine and her had a disagreement on live, and she kept cutting her off. That was Jasmine too, but it happened with Uppity as well. Right before the beef with Uppity, and yes, they did not give her a fair exchange as well. And I did hear some of the stuff because I stayed from around there anyway, But when that happened, it I kind of caught a little bit of it. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I knew something between that little group was going to pop off. I didn't know what exactly or when, but that was something that I already knew. Involved, and not to say Jasmine, it's just the whole little group. You could just tell that something was going to pop off with. When it did pop off, I wasn't surprised at all. And then how she saw how Jasmine was treated on that platform, I wasn't surprised at all. Because some of my thoughts was like, okay, yeah, I wasn't wrong about that. You know what I'm saying? So I got some confirmation from that interaction between them and seeing that. And yeah, they immediately dog piled on her as well. And, kind of ran her off of YouTube because she kind of, she changed her channel name. She still pops on. No power to the sister. I like Journey to Jasmine, no issues with her. But I kind of seen that coming from a mile away. And when it happened, it was like, oh my God, look at it. But they definitely dog piled on that girl. And still to this day, you got content creators that stay dragging her. And Jasmine, I believe that she's sitting on even more tea that she did not release, So for them to be still talking about her like she ain't shit either is crazy. Because Jasmine let us know that they were discussing content creators on their own time when they were linking up together. I don't know how they all knew each other, but they were making time to see each other and go out with each other. And Jasmine said, like, y'all was talking about people when we were together at the dinner or wherever they were. So it's like y'all all had y'all opinions. Content creators. Yep, they all been in this shit together. Oops, sorry, cousin. You okay? Say she doesn't like for people to be smarter than her. Yeah. A lot of bells that be going off. So I stay. I didn't make my way around that way. And I minded my business, y'all. I didn't publicly speak on throwing little shots at me. I didn't speak on that shit. I let a lot of stuff slide because I'm like, it's social media. I don't know these people. They don't know me. It kind of reminded me of workplace job. Some people are just assholes to be assholes. So I'm always like, I tell people that I'm nice or whatever. I wouldn't consider myself friendly, but I'm also not mean. So if I'm in a new environment, whether it was on YouTube or in person, I'm to myself. I kind of like to mind my own business. I peep the scene. I'm observant. But if people approach me, I don't have no problem holding conversations with people. And you usually from a few minutes, you kind of get a feel for if somebody is going to be your type of person or not. Now you can always be a little wrong about somebody. Sure, that can happen. But for the most part, I'm kind of good with people. Some people, their energy is very, very loud. So a lot of people off top, I may not knew what exactly. Like, no, I don't think I need to go around there. So I kind of felt that. But then when I came on YouTube and you had like all these some creators just being petty, you could peep that shit out. I'm not dumb, and I know a lot of people ain't dumb. So you peep that pettiness and that cattiness off top. And women, I tell people all the time, women are very territorial. They are. And that's how women, that women's personalities, they are territorial. And it's like, I know this is YouTube, but by this sector being what it was, I feel like some of them were territorial in a sense. And they didn't like new people coming in. No matter how much they was going on, their views weren't going to change. They still would make little snarky comments, or they would do little shit and you would peep it, but just keep it moving. But when that lady called me by name, first she started subbing me. I didn't say anything. And I knew she was talking about me, but I just immediately was like, okay, fuck her. Now I know, bitch, I do not fuck with Liz. But then she started dropping, oh, this is for T from TV. And that bitch T from TV, it's one of them I ain't spoke on, and I'm going to speak on her now. When she started doing all that, and my first video still was very, very, like dialed down, because like I said, I was grieving, and it was getting close. It was in November, so it was very close to a death anniversary for not one but two people that had passed. It was close to the holidays, and people, seasonal depression is what they call it. A lot of people get that, So she called me at a very vulnerable time, that first video. So it was like, or react how I when I know you, like, oh, you didn't really address me. You didn't call me by name. You thought you wanted this. I didn't address her off top. But then she didn't even stop after that video I made. So I was like, fuck that. That first video, she done took it the wrong way. And she don't think this mouth worked, baby. Baby, I'm very quick with it. Yeah, ma'am. I'm that person. I can argue with the best of them. No pushover. Please don't get it twisted, ma'am. Slippers count, So the next video I about you, your channel, nobody that roll with you, nobody that fuck with you, them subbies, some content creators. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. I'm telling y'all, I don't care. Believe me, be. Don't come over here fucking with me about no content, about no fucking court documents that I went and paid for myself. Like, lady, are you done? The fuck is wrong with you? Stop it to uplift, challenged. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. Some people get very competitive. Hi, Braylon. I'm just uncalled for. It's actually, when you just really think about it, it was just uncalled for. She didn't have to say a lot of shit. And, she went on for so long because we was letting her slide, because we was giving her the benefit of the doubt. And she really did take that in another direction. And so everybody started responding to her. And she just kept going and kept going and kept going, and video for video, video for video. Then everybody wanted to kind of silently agree with her. And it's like, wait, we had to start speaking up, because it's like, if we stay silent and all these subbies are hearing over and over and over is that we're the problem when we're doing this and we're doing that, that becomes what it is. You know what I'm saying? We let them push that narrative long enough, that's all anybody's going to remember, because they didn't hear anything else. So it's like, no, you're not going to go around here talking shit. Yep, and got mad was Jasmine asked her about something she said about her. Yeah, talking behind each other's back. I don't praise nobody but God. That's right. They wanted to run the sector, and it's like, y'all could have had it. the fuck? We all getting views. Y'all could have had it. Never hopped on YouTube with the intention of being in a damn sector, let alone Love and Marriage Huntsville sector. It was so crazy. I stumbled upon this shit by chance, you know? So it was like I started creating content because I wanted to talk about what was going on the show, never to be like, oh, I'm about to be a part of this sector. No, I was watching the show and I wanted to release my commentary on the show. But then, just like anybody, you have to play it smart. I knew here I am. I'm a new YouTuber. I don't do commentary nowhere. It's faceless. You know, it's going to be a slow growing uphill battle. And I came into it knowing that. So I was ready to just, do my time, create my content, and slowly grow. But then I stumbled upon a court case. And for a minute, I was debating before I started creating content. I was debating, like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. But then I'm like, no, I need to drop this. Nobody's talking about this, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did when I stumbled upon the little cases and the little information that I was stumbled upon on. I'm like, oh, this is something to talk about, you know. So I just started dropping the little tea here and there, and was actually I'm a researcher at heart. So just quick little, too much of a deep dive on nobody, you know what I'm saying? So for people like, oh, you need a life, baby, I ain't never really locked in and researched no motherfucking body. All this stuff that I bring in this tea is surface level stuff, little stuff that pops up and just stumbled upon. Nobody gave me my tea. I found this stuff on my own. So why would I give it away? So of course I'm gonna drop it and we're gonna talk about it. But it's like, baby, don't get it twisted. I'm not overly involved. I'm not some of y'all creators. I'm not overly involved in this shit. This is little shit that I come upon, I stumble upon, and yes, it's content, so I'm gonna drop it. But people just were doing the most. They really were. And you could tell it was a lot of just hating shit. And it was like, it's so uncalled for. Child, my numbers don't lie. Yeah. You know, and that kind of slowed me down. Because this year, like, I didn't create near the content that I wanted to create. And it's like you already have to carve out time to do it. And then when so much stuff gets to going on, it really don't even make you want to carve out time to do it. So I slowed my own progress down this year. I should have been damn further than what I am, because all the subscribers I have now, I gained them within the first year. I had all of these doggone subscribers by this time last year. I haven't really grown at all this year. And to be honest, I've lost some subscribers because I think like December of last year, I was at like 5,300. So now my numbers do this weird thing. Like I'll gain a few subscribers here and there, and then I'll lose a few subscribers here and there. So I've been stuck at 5,200, teetering a little bit up, and then it'll drop back down. It's some weird thing going on with my channel. But that's okay, because I know that I'm going to organically grow. You know what I'm saying? To realize that just take it one day at a time. Fuck these motherfucking people. Talk your shit. And yes, if a motherfucker lying on you, correct that shit. Period. They always talking about somebody researching them, yet they put all our information on their pages. So who researching who? Yeah, exactly, Tay. For real, because I haven't researched no motherfucking body. Even the cast members, that's like I said, that surface level shit, little lawsuits and that little tea that we found out about the restaurant, and they little mortgages and they loans and shit. All that little shit is really surface level shit. Ain't nobody did no. I'm sure ain't looked up no content creator. I'm not about to do it. Why? You know what I'm saying? A little different. These people then found our addresses. She sent to your house. She called it a PBE job. It was just too much. So I understand where y'all had to escalate it and really get involved with the courts, because it did just go beyond this shit, and they took it there. And so they wanted to make it seem like nobody else did it, when yes they did, because Rick James Esquire started it when she put y'all in that $10 million lawsuit, and they were slowly doxing y'all, and then all that shit just turned into that. Wonder how that turned out for them. Who knows? Just the numbers. Hayes on Brit's block, just using the numbers she cared about against her, and everybody who's bigger than her. The fuck Shay Renee got to AK subs, but before that hoe got over, never worked with TP. Yeah, that's why she couldn't rebuild those new channels. You researching the wrong thing. Ain't nobody researching their ass. Nobody trust God. Yep, now look at them. Yeah, they crazy, right, channel. And where's PBE, y'all? Before I get out of here, we've been here almost 2.5 hours. I was not supposed to be here this long, baby. We supposed to came and chatted for about an hour. But where I was trying to get on PBE channel today. I was just trying to go over there and check in and see if she dropped anything, what's going on. And I couldn't find her channel. What the hell's going on? Y'all know what's going on with PBE channel? Yeah, none of them are worth researching. I'm glad Tay got her restraining order to protect herself, because that was needed, sending people to her motherfucking house. They looking at her fucking license plate. That's an invasion of privacy. While Omar ran out talking about somebody invaded her privacy. No. They invaded Tay private. PBE says she's taking a break. She will be back. She's on her backup channel. Okay, thank you, Love Key. Thank you for telling me. Because I sure was looking for her, girl. I was like, oh, I ain't seen people, because usually, I see her little posts she make when I get on YouTube, and I ain't seen them, and it ran across my mind. I'm like, where is PBE? I ain't seen her. So PBE, I was looking for you, girl, but I see you on your backup and you taking a break, girl. Take a break. I understand. Oh, it's been so good talking to y'all. I really appreciate y'all hopping over here and thugging with me for these 2 hours, talking to me. Everybody, please tap the like button. Hit that like button for me. And I will talk to you guys later when we get some more tea. When we get some more tea or something, or I may just hop on to talk with y'all. I gotta start doing that too, hopping on just to chit chat, just to kick the motherfucking bobo. Okay, Tay, I sure will check that. I gotta put this damn laptop on the charger. It's finna go dead. I don't want it to die on you peoples. I don't want it to die. Thank you, Braylon. Love you as well, my brother. Love you as well. Yes. Good night, Lifetime. Good night, everybody. Thank y'all for being here. Okay. I'll see y'all in the next one. Hit that like button. Bye.